The Last of Us. What an iconic game. It's a game so special with its storytelling and characters, what kickstarted the Last of Us series. I'm going to show you why The Last of Us still holds up 10 years later in 2023. I mainly want to focus on the story since the gameplay is very optional stealth gameplay that I want to focus. That I usually talk on the channel anyways, like Far Cry 3 and all that. And I talk about the same thing I usually do all the time, so I'm not going to really do that today. I'm just going to focus on this story. So yeah, let's begin this. The story starts with Sarah and Joel. Sarah's getting something for Joel's birthday. So he gives him a watch and tells him that she sells drugs. Joel has to bail his brother Tommy out of jail, leaving Sarah alone. So after they encounter an infected, but Joel kill him. Joel and Tommy bring Sarah so they can leave the city. The car crashes into them. Sarah's leg would be hurt, and Joel had to carry her. Joel would carry her out of the city, but a soldier would shoot Sarah, causing her to bleed out at Joel's side. Wow, one hell of a beginning. It is amazing since this game was originally supposed to start with Joel killing enemies, but that would be changed due to it being very bland and generic. But yeah, great start. Later, it's shown that the virus has wiped out so many people, and it's been 20 years since Sarah died. It is also shown that Joel has become a smuggler with his partner Tess. At the Tess and Joel chase another smuggler named Robert. Tess and Joel make a deal with a firefly named Marley to smuggle a little girl named Ellie to Utah. At the start of the game, Ellie and Joel are shown to not get along, but their relationship grows over the course of the game. Joel goes to this building to get around the abandoned building, but Joel finds out that Tess is infected and has to leave Tess behind. Joel will have to head to his friend Bill so they can go get a car. I like Tess as a character because she's shown to rebel against Joel's attitude at sometimes. Joel can be overbearing sometimes, while being all good at heart. He is kind of a jerk sometimes. But this is because of his past and what happened to him over 20 years ago. He has to stay cold to people because he doesn't want to live that tragic experience with Sarah all over again with Tess. Later, Joel and Ellie would find Bill. Bill would help them do many clickers, runners, and stalkers. Bill and Ellie don't really get along, and Joel will have to look for a car. But Bill gives a car to Joel and Ellie. Bill is supposed to be the mirror of Joel if he never met Ellie. Joel would have ended up like Bill, because if Joel would have ended up like Bill if Ellie never entered his life. Bill is a person who's very is a survivalist and he won't be able to get killed. Yeah, he will get to live for a long time. At what cost? That the people around him won't like him, like Frank. In one of the notes, Frank said he killed himself because he really hated Bill. And you can even show this note to Bill. Joel ends up driving the car. Joel would end up driving the car to a place where Hunters attacks. Hunters are a group of antagonists in the game where one of the main villains. Joel and Ellie would meet Henry and Sam through an abandoned apartment building. They would escape the city and fight the infected. The Hunters would follow them and try to take them out, but was unsuccessful. It was revealed that Sam was bitten, and later next day he tries to attack Ellie, but Henry would have to make a hard decision to kill Sam. Henry, realizing what he'd done, kills himself. This part of the game is so sad since Henry always thought he would see his family again with Sam and end up living a happy life with him. Ellie and Joel are with each other. Joel's going to meet Tommy. Secretly wants to give Ellie to Tommy so Tommy can take care of her. Once he gets to Jackson, he gets a tour. He argues with Tommy, and Tommy ends up caving to Joel's request. This shows that, like, Joel can't really have a peaceful discussion with Tommy without it turning into like a battle, because this is what Joel's become. He's broken. He's so broken that you can't really have a discussion with him peacefully. I mean, this is one of the changes I like in the HBO shows, which I'm gonna talk about. I plan to talk about, but I like the change in the HBO show. Yeah, it's not an argument, but a peaceful discussion. But anyway, Ellie ends up finding out through Maria talking with Tommy, and runs away on one of the Jackson's horses. When Joel finds her, Ellie's angry and convinces Joel to stay with her. This part of the game I really like, since Ellie mentions Sarah, and it gets Joel angry, and Ellie stands up to Joel, telling her that she lost people too, and without Joel, she would be lost and scared. She ends up convincing Joel to stay with her. They end up staying together. A hunter ends up attacking Joel and getting him impaled. Ellie has to take care of Joel, and then you get to control Ellie. Ellie goes on her own when she starts killing random enemies. Those enemies have a leader, which she encounters, named David. David ends up making a deal with her so she can get some medicine, and she ends up taking David's gun. David ends up helping Ellie take down clickers, runners, stalkers, and even a bullloader. She ends up leaving while taking his gun. Later, enemies come to find Joel, so Ellie attacks attention on herself with a horse, taking out enemies with a bow and arrow and her gun. But she's captured by them. David reveals himself to be a cannibal. Just like The Walking Dead Season 1 and the Season 1 game, they also have cannibals in this game. I think David's a much worse person than Andy St. John, Danny St. John, or even Brenda. Because at least them, they weren't... I mean, you can make a probability for Danny being as horrible as David. Because Danny was probably there's theories going around that Danny was a child molester. But it's outright, like, implied and even confirmed in the HBO show. So, yeah. Anyway, he reveals himself to be a cannibal. He feeds human meat to Ellie, but since Ellie is hungry, she eats the meat. Meanwhile, Joel's interrogating cannibals, the people that are working for David, and he gets the info he needs so he can look for Ellie. David attempts to kill Ellie when Ellie distracts David and James long enough for Ellie to kill James and stab David in the shoulder. This segment where you're hiding from David is the creepiest part of the game, because you're actually fighting not get R-worded or die. David grabs her and attempts to R-word her, and Ellie fights back and kills David just in time for Joel to get there. I like this conversation between Joel and Ellie because it's supposed to be private, something that is only meant to be for between them. I like that. Joel and Ellie are near Utah. They go to the infected and look through a zoo of giraffes. Ellie mentions Sarah, and at this time, Joel doesn't mind. This shows that the relationship had gone to from Ellie. Every time Ellie mentioning Sarah, Joel's getting mad and shutting it down, to Joel putting his past behind himself. He even says that maybe Sarah and Ellie would have become friends. Joel and Ellie swim to get a different route, but Ellie drowns. Fireflies appear to surround Joel, but the fireflies knock him out. Marlene tells Joel that they're able to make a cure, but Ellie will have to die. Joel is angry for the fact that Ellie's gonna die. They take Joel downstairs, but Joel kills the guard. He goes after the operating room, killing guards and making his way. Finds the doctor, finds the operating room, kills the doctor, and leaves the room. He goes to the elevator. He encounters Marlene, who tells Joel it's what Ellie wanted. Joel shoots Marlene, and Marlene would beg Joel to spare her. Joel tells Marlene that she would just come after them and shoot Marlene. Joel lies to Ellie, pretending that there were more kids just like Ellie, and he stops looking for a cure. Which is not true. Whatever you think was right, this shows Jelly. Joel really cares for Ellie. I really like the ending whether you think Joel was right or not, he didn't want to lose another daughter, so he saved her when he had the chance. See, I honestly think he was right in the decision, because the Fireflies cure were never gonna work. They made multiple tests of it. It was never gonna work regardless. I'm sorry, it was just not gonna work. And they weren't even gonna plan to give the weapons he was asked for. They were never gonna give the weapons. Let's be honest. They messed up the trade, and they lied to Joel, and they were gonna just kill Ellie in vain. She's gonna die in vain for no reason. So yeah, I think Joel's decision was right, but the line wasn't right at all. It wasn't right. So yeah, I love the story. In conclusion, I really enjoyed The Last of Us. It is a masterpiece with great gameplay and story. Overall, it's the ranking goal. Thank you for watching, and see you later, and bye.